Hey gang, it's Matt the Old Florida Boy with a big thunderstorm in the background. Today we're going to start a new series. It's called K.I.S.S Bushcrafting, K-I-S-S, and that stands for Keep It Simple Stupid Bushcrafting. Doesn't have to be complicated. Today we're going to look at how to tie one of my favorite knots, which is the Taut-Line Hitch. Really handy knot for securing a tarp or securing guy lines on your tent or whatever you need it to do. Now, I've never made any secret that I'm kind of not challenged. You know, the YouTube was full of all kinds of fancy dancy knots and really complicated knots, and you know, I don't have the time to learn, or you know, I'm too old to remember how to tie all those knots. I know like 5 knots, and one of those knots is the one that I use to tie my boots with. You know, I usually use a couple of double half hitches with a bite. I use a bowline, I use a trucker's hitch, and I use a taut-line hitch. If you know those 4 knots, you can use those for about 99% of all the situations that you get into in the woods. But today we're going to look at the taut-line hitch. There's a correct way to tie it, and there's an incorrect way to tie it. So let's go over to my wonderful palm tree and we'll check it out. Okay, here we are at our tree. And it doesn't have to be a tree. It can be a tent stake. It can be anything that you need to tie. First of all, you go around what you need to tie. You have your running end, working end, whatever. We're just going to call this the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass this over itself, okay? And we're going to come back in once. And we're going to come back in twice. So now you've got your 2 loops right here, and all we did is go around twice. Now there's a way to do this and there's a way to not do this. The way to not do this is to come over and back through and tie it like that. You see what I did there? All I did was I made a triple lark's head. All right, now that'll hold. And you know, you can adjust this and it'll hold pretty well, but that is not the correct way to tie this knot. The correct way to tie this knot, give yourself a little bit more slack, okay, is to come through once, through the second time, okay, and instead of going around this side of the rope, go around the other side of the rope and come back through the loop. Okay, now when you dress this knot up, you'll see that the tag end comes back through and it's actually being pinched by the loops of this knot. That is the correct way to tie this knot. If you make a mistake and go around this way, all you've done is you've tied a triple lark's head. Will this work? Yeah. It won't hold as good as tying this knot the correct way, which is to come over the right side of the rope and through there again. You dress that up and it tightens right up on itself. That is the correct way to tie this knot. Okay. Theory in practice. Here's my setup, there's my RV, and here's my awning sunshade, and I have another sunshade that's tied out. And I used a nice little knot that we've all seen. I hooked it to a tie out, and here's the grommets on my tarp. And what did I use to adjust it with? I used a taut-line hitch, tied the correct way. And that puts plenty of tension on this tarp. I have one on that side and I have one on this side, and I can adjust these to pull this tarp tight whenever I need it, and that gives me an awesome sunshade on my RV. Hey, what do you guys think of my spot? I like it. Okay gang, K.I.S.S Bushcrafting. Keep it simple, stupid bushcrafting. Keep it simple. Learn how to tie 3 or 4 basic knots. It's going to take care of all of your bushcrafting needs. Today we looked at the Taut-Line Hitch, and that's one of the handiest knots you'll ever learn how to tie. Very, very easy. Tie it the way I showed it to you. There's a couple of people on YouTube that show you how to tie it the wrong way. There's one little girl that says, you know you've tied it correctly when it looks like a little fist. Well, when you see the little fist, that's how you know you've tied it the wrong way. All you did is tie a triple lark's head. When you see those 3 barrels together, you have to put the rope, the tag end, over the other side of the working end, and you have to put it back through so that it pinches. I hope you found this video very informative. It is real hot and I'm sweating to death. There is a big thunderstorm right over there. It's bordering on the dangerous hot for me to go out in the woods, but you know, I'm gonna try it anyway. I'm sweating right under here. So, but here's how to tie the Taut-Line Hitch. Learn a couple of basic knots and you won't be sorry. Once again, this is Matt the Old Florida Boy, and I will see you on the trail.